Australian boxing fans, what an absolute treat we got today. We have George Ferocious Kambosos joining us today, mate. Great to have you with Australian Boxing Central, mate. Some massive news in regards to your next fight. How you been, mate?
I've been good, man. I've been grinding hard. Obviously, a lot of people have been seeing me work hard, and I've known about the things to come, for a long time. So I've been pushing hard in the gym. I'm stronger than ever. I'm faster than ever. I'm more explosive than ever, and I'm more violent than ever because we all know what's next up.
We certainly do, and it's a massive fight, a great opportunity for yourself, mate, and very exciting news for all boxing fans, in particular Australian ones. June 5th, Teofimo Lopez, the WBO, WBA, and IBF lightweight champion. It's a huge opportunity for you, and no doubt this is something you've been dreaming about for many years.
And the WBC franchise champion and the Ring magazine. So I don't know why people keep forgetting about that WBC, but the franchise belt is like the super belt. So that's all on the line. Every single belt in boxing is on the line for this fight. It's huge. I don't even need to say how big it is for Australian boxing. This has never been done before. This is a one of one, and I'm so focused. I'm so hungry, and I know when I pull this off and shock a lot of people, it will never get done again in Australian boxing. So, I'm just focused. I know the task I have at hand, but I know my preparation already, how it's been. I know how hard I've been working compared to what he's been doing, and this is huge. This is a great opportunity, and I'm ready to take it with both hands.
Definitely, and something all boxing fans can't wait to see. It was a record, I guess, a landmark moment, I guess, for an Australian boxer, and obviously yourself, George, the number one mandatory position for this title fight. Obviously, it was we went to purse bidding, and Triller got the rights to this fight, who obviously put together the Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight late last year. You must be great to be. It must be great to be, being promoted by them for this particular fight. And I guess it also shows how far you've come along to have them, interested in this fight. And we obviously know what Lopez done in his last fight and what he has done in previous fights to get to this point. So it's a huge moment.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic to have Triller come in and obviously bid so high. It shows the value for both fighters. They've already gone and stated how big of a fight they think this is going to be. They've seen how both young, hungry, undefeated fighters, both guys love to talk, both guys like to promote the fight. So it's a win in itself, and once it really starts to take off with the promos and the way it's going to move, the way Triller likes to do things, it's going to be huge. It's going to be massive. They're going to have a lot of influencers on the card. They're going to have a lot of different names on the card, sporting legends, sporting stars in the US. Obviously, in headline by myself and Teofimo Lopez. So, look, they came in heavy, and it's great for the sport. It lifts the market value, and at a time where we're going through a pandemic, and a lot of fighters can't get fights and can't be paid properly. It's costing a lot of careers for a lot of fighters. Myself and Lopez are making massive amounts of money, but most important is the other man across from me, and I call him I won't call him a man. He's a kid. So I'm just happy that it's gone the way it's gone, and he's across the ring for me.
Definitely. And one comment that I did see you make, George, that I found quite interesting and really gave a great insight to sort of where you're at right now. You said, "I'm not scared of any man. I saw what Lomachenko did in the fight in the later part. I'm bigger, stronger, faster, and more explosive and more violent." So I think that gives a great insight to where you're at right now and how you're sort of seeing this opportunity. You're definitely not coming into this fight thinking that you're the B-side or thinking that you're just there for a payday and there to be seen on the world stage. You're definitely coming to win and to take what Lopez has.
Yeah, look, I'm coming to win, and I will win this fight. A lot of people are going to doubt me, but I know what I'm about. I know the next year that I can go and I will go. In my biggest fights, obviously against Bay and Selby, my last two fights, I've only had to go certain gears, and do what I had to do to win them fights. But the style that I see with Lopez, and styles make fights, I think he's perfectly suited for my style. And like I said, I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm more violent than what Lomachenko was. And we saw what happened in that fight. But look, we have already a really good game plan, and we're just under 12 weeks out. So I'm in great shape, and ready to fight. If the fight was this week, I tell you now, I'll fight. I'm ready. And like I said, I don't fear no man. I don't fear this kid. I don't know why everyone is fearing him and afraid of him. But like I said, I'm coming straight for this guy, and I'm ready to take everything he's got.
For sure. And I guess one interesting point to note for all boxing fans out there is the fact that obviously your career started back in 2013. Lopez has started in 2016. You've had a handful of fights more than him. And also, I think your last 6 fights have been overseas. You've done numerous training camps overseas, sparring against some of the best like Manny Pacquiao. With that preparation, that experience that you've had on the international level, how valuable do you think that's going to be in this particular fight against Lopez?
Look, all them preparations, all them hard yards done overseas in the sparring and the preparations in America and all over the world, and obviously the fights all over the world, especially the last 2 fights, going into these former champions' backyards. That's all invaluable experience. You can't get that, and no Australian fighter has that outside of myself. I took the risk early in my career. I took the chance and took the risk to go overseas and see how I could crack it overseas and see how I could crack it where it matters in the US. And we have cracked it. Obviously, the money was not the best at the start in the US. I was coming off some big wins here in Australia where I was ready to become a household name and start, really making a huge, big fights here in Australia. But that was never the plan. That's not part of my legacy. My plan and my legacy was always to go over there and test myself against the best. And I've made my way through. I fought the best that have come my way, and I've taken them out. And now we're fighting the guy who they're saying is unbeatable. They're saying he's the king of the lightweight. So we'll see what a king is to an emperor. Because I call myself an emperor because I've traveled all over the world. I've conquered many countries. So this is just another man on my radar.
Do you think the fact that you have had this experience at international level, obviously with your last few fights overseas, as I touched on the sparring and the training camps, obviously you've got great recognition for your last win against Lee Selby and Mickey Bay prior to that. Do you think Lopez is sleeping on you? Do you think he feels as though you're someone to be taken lightly? Because I know you did sort of take notice of the fact that you feel as though he's been a little bit maybe celebrated a little bit too hard, a little bit too long after his big win against Lomachenko. Do you feel as though he's going to take the foot off the pedal and maybe think that it's an easier fight than what you think it's going to be?
Well, look, if that's what he's done, then that's going to be his big problem. Because I know the way I'm preparing. I know the way I've been preparing since I got out of that fight with Selby. As soon as I stepped outside of that ring, and like I said to Sky Sports, I'm going to go train. I went and trained. I am just a hungry lion. And I did see something today on the Ring Magazine interview that they've done with Lopez, saying that he's fully focused on Kambosos. He knows he's up against a hungry lion. But I think that's just smoke and mirrors. I think truly deep down inside him, he thinks this is an easy fight. And he's already focusing on the guys like Gervonta Davis and all these other guys as well. No problem. You focus on whoever you want to focus, but I'm only focused on one guy. And, I know what I've got to do against this kid to take him out and to take all his belts. But, whatever his focus is, whatever issues he has, whatever problems he has with Top Rank, whatever deal that obviously is going in the back, obviously that no one can see, and what issues he's having with Bob Arum and all these other guys calling him out, that's his problem. Let his vision be real murky. My vision is super clean and clear.
For sure. I did see that he's already talking about a potential fight with Tank Davis, which, personally, I think that's a little bit premature for that, because obviously you've built yourself to this point, George, and you're hungry and you're ready to take this massive opportunity. For him to be talking about Davis already, do you find that a little bit disrespectful or a little bit cocky?
I'll put it back on him then. I had a great FaceTime with Ryan Garcia, and we've already verbally agreed to fight each other in Australia end of this year. So I go win them belts. Obviously me and Ryan Garcia will fight next. So I'm looking at Garcia then if he's looking at Davis. It can play both ways, but whatever way, it doesn't bother me. Whatever he wants to think and whatever way he wants to look at things, I always got a flip side of things as well. And this is the first time he's going to come up against someone that is going to be vocal, someone that's going to get in his head, someone that's going to tell him, listen, I'm not afraid of you. I don't care what you've achieved or what you've done. I'm not Lomachenko, who can't even talk English. I'm not Richard Comey, who can't talk English. I'm not Nakatani, who can't talk English. I'm Kambosos, who will talk English and who will get in your head and who will say things that I'm going to say and do what I have to do to win this fight.
For sure. Now, George, for the Australian boxing fans out there, obviously hardcore fans know exactly how big this fight is, but for just mainstream sports fans and just, people in Australia in general, why should people get behind you for this fight? What is the difference between George Kambosos and other Australian fighters that have gone to fight for world titles, to fight on the big stage? What is it that you feel you're going to bring that is something different to what we've seen from former Australian fighters in the past?
I'm going to win. That's the big difference. A lot of these guys are going overseas and never won. They've gone into big fights and never won. I'm going to win, and I'm going to bring back every single belt. This is boxing. Every belt is on the line. So you talk about boxing. This fight is boxing. When I win these belts, I become boxing. Not just here in Australia. That's a given already now. I am boxing here in Australia, but I become boxing worldwide. I become a global superstar, and what I'm on a mission to achieve, and I will achieve, has never been done by an Australian. I don't need to really, be too vocal about how big this is and what it's gonna mean to put me at the top of all our great fighters. Because if you know boxing, and obviously, the general people will start to realise how big of a deal this fight is. It's massive, and I'm coming to win this fight. That's the most important thing. It's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's not about saying, "Oh, look at me! I got to fight for a unified title." It's about winning these belts and outclassing this kid.
For sure, we did see in the lead up that there was potential chat about this fight maybe being in Australia. That was something that we're all sort of excited about. How close was it to potentially being here? Because no doubt that's what you were pushing for.
Yeah, the fight was done. The fight was done here. There was a lot of money on the table. I've got to give big thanks to Brian Amachuda, Big Time Boxing, and Mick Gatto. The money was there. We had everything set. Unfortunately, when everyone had agreed, the Australian Open came. And with all that talk and all the international news that made headlines about the quarantine and 2 weeks, and that put a real, obviously, burner into everything we were doing. We had everything set up with the government. We had everything ready to go where they would quarantine, but they would get to do their training sessions. They'd be make sure that they were in the system where their 2 weeks would be up, and then they'll start preparing for 10 weeks. But when that hit, the Australian Open hit, and all that news about how they were treated and whatever happened there, put a big hit, and then obviously pushed things to a purse bid, and obviously Triller came in at $6 million plus US. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone was gonna outbid Triller anyway, especially how heavy they came in.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, it's not a big deal. I've been doing overseas for a long time, and what's one more guy that's the 2020 fighter of the year, one more guy that they're saying is unbeatable. It's one more kid in my way, to really go and earn it. If you look at any Australian fighter, I've earned it out of anyone. And I've come from the local club shows, the Croatian club, when there's like 200 people there, selling tickets, selling tables, doing it the hard way, trying to get sponsors, going and doing meat raffles to get some money to be able to provide, for my training camps. I've done it the hardest way. I didn't come out of the amateurs with an Olympic deal or a big sponsorship like all these other guys. I didn't come out as a footy player or a daddy's boy. I've come out the hardest way. And look, that's why I love it, because when I look at myself in the mirror, I said, damn, you done it the hardest way. You're now at the top of Australian boxing. You're the number one. You're the baddest motherfucker in the game here. And you're the highest paid as well now. So when I look at myself in the eyes, there's not one bit of me that says, you haven't gone and earned it. And I'm ready to go and earn it again, against this kid. And I promise you, like I said, I've already negotiated a deal with Ryan Garcia to make the next big unified title fight here in Australia. But obviously my vision is on one guy, and that's Lopez. But I will come back. And fight in Australia with all them beautiful, shiny belts.
That's something we'd love to see, George. And I think one thing that Australian boxing fans definitely believe and feel will give you a great opportunity in this fight is exactly what you just said before about your come up. Obviously, fighting on the local shows, not having a silver spoon sort of run to this opportunity, and the fact that everyone knows that you're gonna fight your heart out, and you're gonna give it absolutely everything. With that confidence you have from, I guess, your upbringing through boxing, does it give you added confidence to know that you have faced many tests up to this point You went and fought in other people's backyards, got wins against the odds. How much extra belief does that give you, and how important do you think it is to have that come up? Because obviously all fighters are going to be tested at some point, and you've obviously done the hard yards up to this point.
Yeah, well, look, that's the most important bit. And like you just said, a fighter will get tested somewhere. I've been tested multiple times, obviously, with all odds against me. And the problem with Australian fights, unfortunately, we're in a pandemic, so it's a bit hard to happen to make it happen right now. But, I took the risk. I took the risk already to go overseas and make it happen over there. And being already against the odds, already being doubted many times in my previous fights, has my belief at an all-time high right now, because if I can go into Mickey Bay's backyard and beat a former world champion in New York in his hometown with 3 American judges against me, it shows what I'm about. If I can go into the UK, into London, and go beat Lee Selby, who's defended the belt 5-6 times and has a massive name over there. And funny enough, with that, we had got to the airport in the UK just before the fight, and obviously they asked, "What are you doing here?" And I said, I'm here to beat your boy, Lee Selby. And they all knew him. They all turned around and said, "You're not beating our boy." So it just shows the confidence I have, and when you got that belief as an Australian, a belief as a Greek, you mix that all together, you get my confidence, you get my output and my asset on what things are. I'm just a confident fighter. I'm not arrogant. If I was arrogant, I wouldn't be. I would have fallen over a long, long time ago. But it's my confidence, my belief, and my hard work. I wouldn't even say talent, because this has been all hard work. Like I've stated many times, I was that overweight, obese kid who would come last every time they'd done something. So there's been no real talent, but it's been a whole lot of heart, a whole lot of willpower, and the determination to get to the top. And we're number 1 in the world now in the IBF and WBO. And after this fight, I will be the unified champion of the world.
That's what we hope to see, George, and we're all rooting for you. One I think shift I think you've sort of made sort of following your career. One thing I've noted is sort of early days you seem to be this sort of brash, bit of a trash talker. Obviously, you're trying to sort of get your name out there and get people sort of knowing who you are and whatnot. But it seems as though since you've had kids and obviously sort of now you're in your sort of mid to late 20s, it seems as though you really have sort of matured as a fighter. And not to say that you still haven't got that confident, outspoken nature. It just seems that you have really sort of matured. And I guess from my perspective, you seem as though you're far better prepared for an opportunity like this. And it also seems to be that you really are relishing this opportunity and the fact that you're on the biggest stage fighting for all the belts and in front of the whole world and Australia.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I'm going up to 28 years of age now. I'm a man. I got my kids. I got my family. I'll still say things that I stand true to and I believe in, but I'm not that guy who would come out crazy and hot-headed. But again, I'll still stay true to my beliefs. And sometimes if I got to be out there a little bit more, I'll do it. But I got the biggest name here in Australian boxing, and I got the biggest social media bases. Everyone knows Kambosos, regardless of if I'm on TV every week or not, regardless if they're giving me Foxtel gigs or not, regardless if they're putting me in the paper every single week or not. Everyone knows Kambosos. Everyone, when they look deep, they know who the man is here. I've been just so focused for a long, long time. And, even as a young kid, I look back and say, all right, you were such a focused guy then, but when you add all the motivation, the kids, the what I've been through to get to where I am today, all of them belts on the line. It's just too much on the line, too much mixed into one pot that I can't lose this fight. I need to win this fight. And I need to win this fight for Australian boxing because, like I said, we don't have a big name overseas. I've been doing my thing overseas for a long time, and I've been given a lot of, obviously, respect back to Australian boxing and credibility. But, I feel like I've got a country on my shoulders. They might say this guy's the guy from Australia or this guy's the other guy from Australia. But when you look at the guy who's actually representing Australia, it's me. And I take that with me. I take that on my shoulders because, I know a loss will put back Australia, being the only one overseas doing my thing over there. So I take that on my shoulders as well. And look, I just focused. I'm a focused fighter, and I got that tunnel vision belief. I don't meant to be too outspoken with stupid things. I just say it the way it is and stay confident. That's the way the fans love it. I get thousands of messages a day from so much support, and it's awesome to see how many people I inspire and motivate.
For sure, and 100% agree with what you're saying there. All the fans on Australian Boxing Central, they're giving us plenty of love. Anytime we do put the Ferocious one up there, it's great for us and great to see all the fans getting behind you, George. Now, I noted one thing as well. The odds makers have you a underdog of roughly 5-1 currently. Being the role of the underdog, is that a tag that you take in your stride? Is it something that motivates you even further?
Yeah, look, I love that underdog mentality. I've been like that for my whole career. I'd rather have the underdog mentality than the favourite. But it is dropping. It is starting to drop the odds. If people
money on now,
get on now, because the same thing happened with Selby. I came out real outside, and then by the time the fight came and people started really looking into Kambosos and how good of a fight it would be, I became the favourite. But I take that underdog mentality wherever I go. I've been like that for a long time, even when I was fighting here, when I had them early fights with Robert Toomey and De Los Reyes and obviously Ogilvy and Bala. Always the underdog. A lot of people didn't believe in myself, and it's crazy to see the shift, especially here in Australia, where I have so much support now, and obviously from you guys and your side. I know every time you put something up, it goes through the roof and it goes viral. So the comments are always awesome. So I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate you guys too, because you guys are the only guys that give me a bit of a plug these days and supporting me, not like that other boxing site who I call the number 2 in Australian boxing.
Well, we appreciate the love, George. We love putting your stuff up, and the fans love it too. So it's always great to work with you. While we're talking about the fans, George, what's your message to them? Obviously, 12 weeks out from your fight, it's huge for Australian boxing. It's huge for you. We want to see you go out there and bring all those belts back. What's your message to the fans?
Well, I appreciate the fans. The fans are everything in this sport. It's a shame that a lot of the fans can't get to the fights, especially with this fight being overseas. Now, I would have had so much support coming overseas, but that's okay. As long as I got my shield and sword with me, which I say is my gloves and my heart, I'll go do my job and win this fight. But the fans, I appreciate the support so much, and I'm doing it for you guys as much as I'm doing it for myself and my family and everything I've been through. I'm doing it for the fans. I'm doing it for everyone here in Australia. I'm doing it for all the Greeks, because this is a huge moment, not only for myself, but I know so many will feel very proud when I win these belts and bring them back home. And Australian boxing is going to be at a whole new level when I become the undisputed unified champion and bring these belts. They think boxing is at a good place now. This victory will not only create my legacy, but it will help a lot of these young kids, these young fighters, these amateurs, these young pros. It will hopefully give them a platform onto the bigger stage and onto to things we're going to do here in Australia. So this is big for everybody, not just for myself, but for everybody a part of it.
Well, George, I was already excited for the fight, as we all were. But after talking to you today, mate, you've obviously you've got me even more excited. This is huge stuff, and I think it would be although we saw the huge upset a few years back between Jeff Horn and Manny Pacquiao, I think this would certainly be up there as far as one of the greatest achievements an Australian boxer has done on the international stage, with so many belts on the line against a great champion like Lopez. I think you're one of the best chances that we've had in a long, long time. Obviously undefeated, full of confidence, inspired, and you've got a whole country behind you wanting to see you bring those belts home, George. So can't wait to see that fight happen, mate. Australian boxing fans, get behind George Ferocious Kambosos. He's our next big thing, and certainly one to keep an eye out for. And I think you're going to win, mate. I think you're going to do it in style, and can't wait to see you bring those belts back home to Australia.
Yeah, definitely, man. Look, I'm like I said, I'm hungry, man. I'm going to win this fight, and you can already see what a fighter's mentality is. And man, I got the eye of the tiger. I find for me this fight, and I'll take it to a movie. This is Rocky 3, where obviously Rocky was having fun. He was living the Hollywood life. He was enjoying himself like Lopez, and Clubber Lane came out and got him hungry like myself. I'm hungry, and I'm going to win this fight and win all these belts. So I appreciate the support, appreciate the support from you guys, and obviously I'm sure you'll be. We'll chat before the big fight.
For sure, George. Thank you so much for your time, mate. As I said before, ladies and gentlemen, get behind George Ferocious Kambosos. If you don't already follow him on Instagram, George, what's your Instagram tag?
Follow me on Instagram, George Kambosos Jr. You won't miss me. I've got that verified tick, and I've got about 140,000 people on there, so you won't miss it. But I'd love to have more support and to keep track of what I'm doing day in, day out. I post a lot of things, obviously, on my stories to show how hard it is and how much hard work goes into preparation like this. So come on board and support me now.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ferocious. We'll talk to you very soon, mate. Take care, and we'll catch up again in the not too distant future.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.